Ever since its creation, the Brave browser has had no shortage of controversy. Whether it be the Brave CEO's homophobic actions, Brave's somewhat questionable business model, or Brave itself being caught disrespecting their users. As a result of this, a lot of people understandably want to stay as far away from the Brave web browser as possible. However, to some people they like the Brave browser, but they want nothing to do with what Brave is doing, and that's perfectly understandable. The web browser does, after all, have a very nice experience out of the box. Thankfully, there is now a project in the works for those people. Today we're talking about the Braver browser, a Brave fork without any adware, cryptocurrencies or other nonsense that Brave put into their browser, and we're talking about that right now on the Linux Lounge. Now first things first, what is Braver? Well, besides being quite a cleverly named project, it's essentially a project to remove all of the sort of undesirable things in the Brave web browser, whether that be adware, cryptocurrency, or some other odds and ends. Sort of think of it as Ungoogle Chromium, but for Brave. Now, forking Brave to remove all of that sort of stuff is nothing new. It has been done before. However, it's been done by a group that to some people is probably worse than their team behind Brave. So for most people, the Braver browser is going to be a good first look at Brave without all the sort of junk and other things that are included with Brave. Now you might ask, what will the advantages to using the Braver browser be? Well, the first one and the biggest one for me is that you won't be supporting Brave by using this browser, and more specifically to a lot of people you won't be supporting Brave CEO, which for a lot of people is going to be a huge plus. As well as that, you won't be supporting Brave's ad replacement business model either, which is something that a lot of people don't like. Related to that, Braver also won't have any of the cryptocurrency features that Brave has. This means there won't be an option to replace ads with Brave's own, and you won't be able to make or donate BAT tokens. But a lot of people consider the cryptocurrency element of Brave to be unethical or just bloat, so to a lot of people this is going to be a big plus. And the last advantage of Braver that I can think of is it'll be a community-driven effort. That means that the browser will be much less likely to mistreat its users like Brave has in the past. If it's made by the community, it'll be for the community. So you won't see Braver sticking its referral links into the browser and doing other stuff like that. There are other advantages to Braver being a community-driven browser too. For example, being community-driven might open up the possibility of Braver going its own separate way from Brave somewhat and adding features that the community might want and other cool things like that. However, with all that being said, there will be certainly downsides to using Braver. So for instance, you might find yourself waiting longer for updates, as Braver will need to bring their browser in line with upstream Brave every update, as well as check over those new updates to ensure that nothing sketchy is going on with upstream Brave. However, if Ungoogle Chromium is anything to go by, new updates shouldn't be all that slow because Ungoogle Chromium generally does pretty well in terms of updating their browser. Another downside might be support. There won't be a company behind the Braver browser, so it's possible the platform support and other such things won't be quite as good. For instance, we will certainly never see an iOS version of Braver, although as it stands they do seem to be planning support for Windows, macOS, Linux and Android support, so it's almost as good as Brave itself, and a lot of people will argue that we don't need the company behind the browser. So finally, to finish off with, I should probably say how you can get the Braver browser. Sadly, it's still very early in development, so if you want it, you're going to have to build it from source, as there isn't a binary build yet. There isn't even an AUR package for it yet, so it's very much not ready for the average user at the moment. However, given a few months, I would absolutely expect this browser to be a very compelling alternative to Brave. But with all that said, that's it for today's video. What do you think of the Braver browser? Let me know in the comment section below. While you're down there, consider liking, commenting and subscribing. Also consider following my LBRY link, that's in the description, and consider checking this video out over on LBRY. It really helps the show out. If you're already on LBRY, consider leaving a tip and supporting the content that I make. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one.